How about open communication?
That's key.
Key.
Definitely.
Okay.
If you don't have it, the relationship's going to dwindle to nothing.
If there's no communication, there's no trust, there's no support.
Oh, so this is a way to build trust,
Yeah.
Support, respect.
and it also demonstrates some of those things. Okay. What other aspects of open communication would you want to put down on the quality wheel?
Don't be afraid to talk about something. You're supposed to be in love with this person, or if it's not your significant other, you're supposed to love the person. If it's not your family member or something.
So being able to talk about the whole gamut of topics. Okay.
Shouldn't hide anything from your partner.
And that kind of leads to kind of an emotional intimacy with a person. That you can be close to someone, you can share your feelings, you can share your fears. What other aspects of intimacy are there?
Touch.
The right kind of touch at the right time.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
A reassuring touch.
Others.
That's a good one.
Holding hands. Okay. Which again goes into physical affection. Okay.
Which definitely is at the appropriate time.
Okay.
Never forced, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Show the love when you do it.
Definitely consensual. And one of the things that we notice, especially with physical affection, is how do you know when it's at the appropriate time for the other person, and how do you know that it's consensual and those sort of things. And the one thing that we see time and time again is that it goes back again to that open communication and being willing to talk about those things. Talk about, is this okay? Is that okay? What level are you comfortable with? And at any time, in all relationships, I think there comes a time when something might get pushed, and you get into an area of like, well, I don't know if this is okay or if this is not. And in most of my relationships, it's turned out that it's been okay. But I've often found myself in those situations of, I don't know exactly if where we're going is going to be okay. And for me personally, and I know from a lot of the people that I've talked to, that's a time when it's most necessary to stop and pull back, and then you start that open communication again. And that leads, again, to more intimacy, and it keeps on cycling again and again. Okay, I think we got this pretty well. There's also fairness in negotiation and shared responsibility, but you guys are doing so well, I think you got it. In order to give you guys a prop that you can have with different people that you're talking about, that you're talking to, I have already a printed out copy of this. And you'll notice that there's a lot of the same things that we were just talking about that are on there, and maybe a couple other ones. But I found this most useful when you talk to someone that's in a relationship where you see things spinning out of control, when you see that power and that control again and again in a lot of facets. This is something that's available. You can say, okay, look at this. How many of these things do you count within your relationship? How many things do you see that happen? And it can be a tool that can be a little eye-opener for a number of people. And then on the other hand, you have the equality and say, what on here do you have? And maybe there's some things on here and there's some things on this one, but as we've just seen again and again, the things that you have on here will keep spiraling. The things that you have on here will keep building and keep building on each other. So if you see a couple of instances of this minimization or of this domination, it's not going to stop there. It's not going to stop with just humiliation. It keeps building, and it's going to lead to other things, because they don't happen just in a vacuum. All right. Any questions as far as that goes on the power and control relationships? Okay. Go ahead.
Kevin's right, it's not necessarily going to stop at just one of those things, and it does escalate, but it doesn't necessarily have to include all of them. There are all kinds of relationships that have sexual violence and humiliation, or just emotional violence, or psychological violence without the physical component. And that can happen too, and it's just as destructive.
Thank you.
I think that's